Okay, so everything is in full swing. So Justin and I leave for our honeymoon in like 4 days. So Justin and I actually didn't just get married. Some people might say, what are you doing going on a honeymoon a year and a half into your marriage and still calling it a honeymoon? So let me just express why this is actually a really perfect time for this. It couldn't be more perfect. And, we moved in together. And we didn't want to live together and not be married. So in Colorado, you can marry yourself. So we went behind a mountaintop and we had a nice little ceremony between us. We got married, and but we didn't have a chance to honeymoon or really be celebrated by people who knew us, or really have that sort of, I think the thing about a weddings are really overdone. They're way overly expensive. It does a lot of crazy things with family. We didn't want to deal with any of that. But one powerful thing it does offer is sort of this starting place, like this jumping off place for your relationship. So we just kind of started our relationship and jumped back into life, but we didn't really have a chance to stop and be like, what do we really want? Where are we really going? What do we want our life to look like? We didn't have that starting place, but I think, we didn't live together before we got married. We're a little bit rare that way. Today, I think it's so common. I have lived with people before and it never successfully panned out to marriage. And I see now, at least with Justin and I, not living together and just jumping in and being married was much better because we already had this level of commitment. And it also made everything a lot more fun because there's been so much to work out. But having a wedding and honeymoon a year and a half ago, I think would have been too much. It was like enough to take on getting married and then just trying to merge our lives, and sort of, we'd both been living with family, so we hadn't really been taking care of our own households, much less he never even had a girlfriend. Now he had a wife, although he had a lot of sisters and moms, so he's familiar with living with women. But thankfully that wasn't new, but we were new to each other. And then, trying to on board with all the marriage stuff and life stuff. And then on top of that, thinking like career. And anyway, now actually going on a trip together is perfect because it gives us a chance, after working out a lot over the last year and a half. I think there was fighting, there was friction. We went through a lot of hard stuff in a pretty oppressive work environment and schedule for a little bit. And Justin had that car accident. We came out of a lot of stuff. And now we're just really able to focus and regroup and get really excited about our lives together. Now I think we're ready to look and say, what do we want? And oddly enough, I started this channel and Journey to Happiness in July? So that would be 5, 6, 7, 8, like 8 months-ish ago. And the day we get on our cruise is actually the anniversary of my aunt's death. And oddly enough, my number's 311. It's also an Abraham Hicks cruise, so we're going to be getting a lot of positive energy and focusing on what are we attracting. I think I started this channel on the journey, and I've learned so much more about the foundational beliefs about life that I've needed to shift in order to really align my actions with the law of attraction. I think that in and of itself is a journey because we learn things that are so opposite of that. And really digging into what I believe and why has been a big initial piece of this channel. And I think you have to be willing to do that reflection and then allow the change to occur. And it's not super fun. It feels like I've talked about a little bit like purgatory or an in-between or the void. It's referenced in a lot of spiritual journeys, but just kind of when you leave what you've always known and you head towards an unknown shore and you don't really believe that stuff yet and you don't really unbelieve the old stuff yet, and you're kind of moving in between, and it just feels like there's nothing to hold on to, which I've heard Alan Watts say there is really nothing to hold on to many times now over the last month. So, something to reflect on there. But anyway, very exciting. I certainly love holding on to my husband these days. I'll say that. That is something fun, even if it's only temporary. So we're going to be going on this vacation and we're very excited to reboot. And I feel like a lot of this work is part of going and spending this 10 days on a boat with Abraham and being able to really absorb law and attraction in another way, being celebrated. Justin and I get to have it's not a wedding, but it's just a little reception He gets to meet my friends and family. We get to have a party. My mom was just like very generous and said, hey, if you're not going to let us get the honeymoon, then let me throw you a little party, and is doing that. So very excited to see people and be with my friends and go south. So that's kind of what's happening here. We're trying to pack, get things ready. I'm actually really glad Justin's around the house to get a lot of things done because I've got to work the next 4 days. But we're pretty well prepped. I think we got most of the clothes we need, everything we need. I got to get my nails and toes done. I have a broken nail. This is lovely. Absolutely lovely. Anyway, so we'll do a quick reading and I'll be on my way. Aren't you excited to go to the Caribbean, by the way? I am.